Welcome to Alpine Base Edge, Colorado's premier ski tuning and race shop. Today we're going to teach you how to prepare your skis for edge sharpening and waxing. This is a three-part series, and this is part one in that three-part series. If you're like most people, your skis have sat in a garage all summer, the edges have gotten a little bit rusty, there's probably some dirt left over from skiing, and they need a little bit of TLC. So today we're going to show you how to prepare your skis to be tuned. First thing you'll want to do is bring the brakes up. We use a brake retainer rubber band. Don't use the rubber band from your broccoli because it won't hold. The brakes will come down and it'll snap your finger and it really hurts. Wrap the rubber band around one side of the brake, push down on the brake pad, go under to the next side of the brake and up over the binding, creating this triangle, and that will hold your brake up. The first thing you'll want to do is take all the dirt, oils, and other materials that have accumulated on your ski base off, and then let the ski base dry. So we'll use some wax remover to do that. We spray it on, scrub it down with an old kitchen scrub pad. Use a good quality wax remover. Do not use gasoline or kerosene or anything like that. It's too flammable and it'll dry your base out. Remove the excess with a soft cloth and let the ski dry, about 5 minutes. So as you can see on this edge, we have some oxidation, there's some rust, some burrs, and we want to take that off before we sharpen our skis. So we're going to use the rough side of the stone, the 300 grit, as opposed to the 600 grit side of the stone. Hold the stone like you would a harmonica, press the stone against the base of the edge, stone off the base edge, and then move it to the side edge, once again holding it like a harmonica. Press down with your thumbs. You won't change your edge bevel angles this way, you'll just be cleaning the edge up. And then, if you still have some rust left, you can use a piece of emery cloth. This is 120 grit emery cloth, and use it just like your stone. And you can polish off any of that oxidation or rust pretty quickly. You can also put the emery cloth right on your stone, using your stone as a background, and polish the edge that way. And that takes it off too. Main thing is to get the rust off the edges. So when we go to sharpen the edge, you have a nice clean edge. And now you can see the edge is nice and shiny and clean. It actually sharpened it a little bit. And we're ready to do some base repair. We're ready to fill in some of the scratches and gouges on the base of this ski. There aren't many on this particular ski, but for our demonstration this will work fine. I like to use a P-Tex drip candle. It's basically the only way you can really repair at home. And I like these automatic torch lighters. I'm using a little propane tank with a torch lighter. And lighting your P-Tex is important. Use a metal scraper as a palette. That way when the P-Tex drips, it won't drip onto your ski or onto the floor, or onto your feet or your skin. It'll drip onto the metal. And when you're lighting your P-Tex candle, you just roll it back and forth in the flame. You want to keep the flame at a low level so it's not spraying P-Tex all over the place. And once it gets lit, and I'm going to let it drip onto the palette, and at the same time I'm going to turn off my torch so I don't burn my hair, which I don't have very much of anymore. And when you're P-Texing, I've got a few small scrapes here. You want to get the P-Tex candle as close to the base as possible so it has a nice blue flame. You do not want a yellow flame dripping P-Tex like this. This is not how you P-Tex a ski. That's how you burn your ski. P-Texing takes a little time, but if you do it properly, you'll get a really nice result. I'm just going to fill in some of the little scratches here. You see I've got it really close to the base of the ski, almost where it's just flowing right on there. If you get it just right, you actually just draw the P-Tex right onto the scratches. If you have a core shot, don't put P-Tex in it, it won't hold. That requires a little different repair. Now, I'm using black on the black area. In this area where I have clear P-Tex, I want to use clear. Don't use black in a clear area. That really looks bad and the result isn't very aesthetic. I have no scratches up here, so I'm not going to have to fill in. When I blow my P-Tex candle out, I blow it away from myself, a little puff of air, and that'll blow it out. Don't try to shake your P-Tex stick up and down to blow it out. That'll just spread P-Tex all over the place. I want to put my P-Tex down somewhere where it's not going to affect anything on the bench. In my demonstration that P-Tex won't hold to core material or metal, you can see it doesn't hold very good. It just scrapes right off the scraper. Okay, we're going to use a metal scraper to scrape the P-Tex. We do not use metal scrapers to scrape wax, only the P-Tex. And the reason is that a metal scraper will take off the structure that you paid such a good amount of money for to have imparted to your ski. And you want to make sure that your metal scraper is sharp and burr-free before you scrape the P-Tex off. I have a mill bastard file in a little holding device here on the bench, and all I have to do is put it on there and press. I flip it over, do the same the other direction. This gives me a really nice sharp burr on this scraper, and I'm going to use my shop stone. Make sure there's no rough burrs on the scraper. And I'm ready to scrape the P-Tex. There's two methods to scraping P-Tex. The P-Tex is in your middle of your ski. You can use the push method, where you put your thumbs behind the scraper, your fingers on the side, and you're going to bend the scraper a little bit, keep it at a slight angle, and very slowly take off the layers of P-Tex that you drift on. And that P-Tex takes about 5 or 10 minutes to cool. Just like that. You don't have to press very hard. If you have P-Tex near the edge of the ski, the push method can be good, but if you miss, you might come down your edge and mess up your edge and burr it up with the metal scraper, which messes up your edge, messes up your scraper, and you have to start all over. I prefer another method called the cut method. When you're cutting P-Tex, instead of pushing, you can cut by sliding the blade at a slight angle across the base and cutting the P-Tex off at the angle. Very slightly until I don't feel any differentiation between my P-Tex Repair and the rest of the base. So when you're close to the edge, the cutting method works pretty well. Use your own judgment as to what method you'd like to use. The key is to have a sharp scraper and a steady hand, and then come one more time down the whole repair area to see if there's any high spots. You will have some shading where you P-Texed, and that's okay. And actually, as you brush your ski after you wax it, the structure will come back in these areas that you actually put P-Tex in. But the scratches that you filled in will stay filled in. At this point, we're ready to go on to sharpening our edges and then polishing our edges with some stones and working on the sidewall of the ski and maybe doing some sidewall planing so we can get a good effective edge. And we'll do some base filing and side edge filing, and then we're ready to wax the ski.